We grow a very wide range of hardy perennial plants that make food and medicine with our nursery, and we've learned over the years to trial plants that are new to us in multiple contexts so that we can best understand what their needs are and where they're going to be most happy. So in this video, I'm going to share notes about what we've found thus far, 5 years in growing Myoga Ginger. Really beautiful and very surprisingly super hardy perennial ginger family plant. What sort of conditions do they seem to love the best? The context that these Myoga Ginger are in which they're incredibly happy, is such that I'm looking about due east right through here. So there's morning light that comes into this area, but then from around midday onward, between the mulberry, the pines, and then the walnuts off to the west, it is a pretty dense canopy. So it is a distinctly partial shade context that Mioga seems happiest. This patch right in front of me is a really healthy and happy patch of plants, and we'll harvest the roots for nursery work in the fall or next spring. With Mioga, it's not about digging up the roots, it's about a harvest of a young flower that will emerge right from the base. It's not there just yet, it'll be late August. Maybe we'll do a video this year about how to process those flowers into beautiful pickled condiments. But here is this perennial ginger in zone 5B. They've experienced -13 Fahrenheit, I believe even colder, with no dieback or problems. And their happy place seems to be a fair bit of morning light, but definitely shade in the late day. So they seem very promising as understory elements, perhaps in a fruit tree guild. Let's say you've got an apple or a peach or someone like that. What does it look like to have Mioga planted to the east or to the north of those young trees to be a nice ground cover? Since you're not digging up the roots, you're harvesting the flower. It's compatible with the roots of an apple tree or other. So a neat companion, super hardy perennial, surprisingly hardy perennial that we've just loved. Incredible side bonus, thus far, Mioga has proven to be about as deer uninteresting as any plant we've met. In fact, this is a black walnut, and in my experience, deer very infrequently will eat a black walnut. They're so aromatic. But here, the deer population is so intense this year that they're eating trees that they don't seem to normally eat. So there's some browse right there of a very aromatic plant, and the Mioga they've left alone. It's possible that they'll find them and choose to eat them later on, but in 5 years of growing them with exposure to deer browse, they seem pretty immune to that. And lastly, around context and propagation, so far we've seen Mioga being very compatible with pawpaw. So these are second-year pawpaw trees. They like similar contexts. Pawpaw in their youth like a good, cool, evenly moist but well-drained soil if they can get it. They like morning sun, but they don't like late day sun. And so it's kind of neat to see the pawpaws all here on the east side, growing, having their nice life. Myoga Ginger, a thicket in there running. So in the fall, we can dig up both Myoga and pawpaw for the nursery. And you can see this whole context is just filled to the brim with pawpaws. These are second-year seedlings coming up, and that outer bed is all pawpaw and persimmon, pretty darn tolerant of partial shade. So yeah, Myoga Ginger, very nice surprise, being way hardier than listed on most websites, say zone 7. We have tested them hardy to zone 5B, at least -13 or -18 Fahrenheit without much mulch, and deer resilient it seems so far, partial shade tolerant, and beautiful and really tasty. It's an interesting ginger, oniony sort of flavor. We love this plant, and I hope you love them someday too.